Okay, well, once again, we're doing some more aesthetics. You see that area there on the firewall with the big hole in it. That's where the master cylinder goes. It's also where the main pedal support bracket mounts. That goes between the firewall and the dash. That assembly has 4 bolts. Show me the front. That assembly had 4 bolts coming through the firewall, 2 for the master cylinder and 2 that were just simply supports. The upper ones were the supports right there. The upper ones were the supports. Now it's going to be supported. The upper ones are going to be supported from the inside and not show on the engine side. Sorry.
No.
So here Scott's been doing this today, making, you see the 3/8 plate that's going to weld to the inside of the firewall. The little tabs are welded to the support bracket here, and then it bolts to the 3/8 plate. So then obviously there will only be the 2 lower holes showing here, the ones that mount the master cylinder. You see he's filled the upper ones already. Grinding those right now. In the meantime, yesterday we went to the weld shop and got ourselves a new MIG welder to do some of the sheet metal work here. You know, like we're going to put the tubs, the bigger tubs in for the rear tires. And I've been putting the cart for the welder together. See what I'm doing here with the tape. The little support for the gas bottle is there, but it's too tall for the bottle. And bottles right now are not that available. There's a shortage because of steel shortage or something. So we got the bottle that we could get, the biggest bottle we could get, which is a little shorter than that support piece there. So I'm lowering the support piece. But anyway, more to come on this. We're going to start learning how to use a MIG welder and use it for some of the sheet metal work. Anyway, again, later. Okay, well, welcome back, everyone, to Blue Heinz Garage. Making more progress on the time machine. Gotten a little further here. From the last time you saw this, you see those top 2 holes there where the master cylinder mounts are now filled and doctored, whatever you want to call it. Massaged, all gone. Master cylinder is mocked up. Proportioning valve is mocked up. You can see we've got the steering column mocked up as well. Got the old steering, one of the old, yeah, I think this is the steering wheel that came with this car. On here temporarily, just so we've got something to you know, turn with. I'll show you underneath the dashboard as much as I can, because more stuff happened under there with those 2 holes, those 2 upper bolts removed from the firewall. We had to do some, you know, mounting on the inside. So I'll see if I can get a shot of that. So you can see there's the back side of the master cylinder mount. The lower 2 bolts you're looking at right there are the ones the master cylinder's mounted on. You see we put the little tabs for the upper 2 bolts and put a 3/8 inch thick plate, threaded plate on the inside of the firewall to replace the bolts going through, the through bolts. The through bolts are gone. Now the upper bolts bolt to that 3/8 inch tapped plate that's welded to the inside of the firewall. So again, it's getting a little more, it's a little busier in the inside here. There's the mounting for the rod braces that go from the firewall to the backside of that pedal mount. Okay, that's 2 of the 3. The other one's on the opposite side of the steering column. You can see the bolt way over there on that side. Anyway. Okay, so right now what we're starting to do is remove stuff to make the replacement of the wheel tubs accessible. On that side, that vertical has been taken out already. So you see all the holes. There's a whole bunch more patches to do. plugs to make.
Yeah, the dead guys really went crazy with the spot welder.
Yeah, they really did. Like you say, most of them are probably gone now because that's 60 years ago.
God bless them.
This is the before side, and that's the after side. And then we start cutting out the tubs. So later. Okay, well, it's later the same day, Saturday the 18th. And Scott just left. It's 6 p.m. We made pretty good progress today, actually. We started taking this apart so we could put the tubs in, the wider wheel tubs. So you can see where the spot wells got drilled out there, and here, and over there. Down at the bottom. Okay. He did quite a bit of work right there. You know, that's where those shock mounts, you see the V there. That's where the 57 Chevys, the upper shock mount, goes in that hole right there in the V. And those get destroyed. They always get destroyed, especially with a car that's this old. And I don't know if it's ever been raced or beat or anything else, but the panels there, you see where it's been welded, if I can show you, all across there, was all separated. There was probably 1/4 of an inch between those two panels. It had broken all the spot welds loose, if they ever were any good, and it was separated. So we got that back together. It's all welded up now. It's nice and tight. So all of that happened. Well, like I said, we removed the stuff, found the damage, fixed the damage. So that's done. Keep hitting the wrong button. Sorry, I turned the camera off instead of unzoom it. Anyway, the pieces that got taken out are that piece, which goes over the top of those shock mount areas I was just telling you about. We need the piece in the front there. We need that channel shaped piece that's in the front. So we're going to take that apart from the back side. We're probably not going to use this flat piece with the two rectangular openings in it. We're probably not going to use that piece. If we cover that area, we'll make a new cover for it. So that got removed. These are the two side pieces. You see these stand like this. This would be like I think this is, the way it's shaped right now, the way it's facing right now, it's inside out. But the way it's facing right now, it would go against the tub on the driver's side. And the seat would lay against this. The seat back would lay against this panel. Obviously, it's reversed. It goes this way. It sits in the car in that direction. So that's the passenger side. And what you're looking at here, see if I can zoom this. You see all the little round things? That's all the spot welds. And those are all those little patches we made, little plugs we made to fill those holes. I think there's like 21 of them on there. So all those need to get welded now. They're all, the way I do it, and I'll do another video to show you that. The way I do it, I use a Whitney punch to make the little plug. And I carefully drill the hole and then use a rat tail file to ream the hole to the exact size I need. And the little plugs get hammered in so that they're kind of swedged in. Here. You see how they're stationary in there because when you put them in the hole, when the hole's the right size, when you put them in the hole and you beat on them, it flattens them out, which enlarges them, and they swedge themselves into the opening. The system works really well. And once you know how to do it, it doesn't take that long. So now those panels are, well, not those. That one's not done yet. This one over here is ready to weld. So like I say, we've made a fair amount of progress today. Hopefully we can keep it going. So anyway, until the next time, talk to you when there's something else to show you. Bye. Hello and welcome to Blue Heinz Garage. It is Sunday, October 17th. And I just wanted to show you how I do all these plugs that we're doing in pieces of material like this. All the spot welds got drilled out, and obviously you got to plug all those holes if you're going to reuse this piece. So I've tried to describe this. I don't know how well it comes through. You know how picture's worth 1,000 words. So I'm going to try and show you how I do this, because I really like how it works. It works quite well. Anyway, here goes. Okay, for starters, I've got this piece of metal that's the same thickness as that piece I just showed you, and this is obviously, you can see what I'm using to make all the plugs. And I've got a Whitney punch here that makes all the little plugs. So I'll show you how we do that, how I've been doing that. I really like this system. Okay, so I use a cheater on this, obviously, because it takes a lot of pressure. Okay, there's the little plug it just made. So I make a whole bunch of those. Typically have been doing is a line at a time. Okay. Obviously what I've done is used a drill that is really close to the same size as that punch. In fact, what this drill is a tiny bit undersized, which allows me to tailor the holes exactly how I want them. So I've already drilled these out with that drill. The little rotor broach saw that we used to drill out the spot welds is a tiny bit small. So I've drilled the hole out with the drill, and then what I'm doing is I'm taking a coarse rat tail file. This is a little bigger than 3/8, probably almost a ½ inch on its biggest, the biggest diameter. And what I'm doing with that is almost using it like a reamer. I stick it in there and turn it. It starts to grab and pull its way in. So you do that, a little at a time until you see where's the right place to stop. And then what I do is try the plug. Once I see that the plug fits, I stop. The plug wants to fit in there, and it wants to fit in there rather snugly. Not so tight that it won't go in the hole, but snug. So if you can see here, I don't know how well, maybe I'll reset you up so you can see this a little closer. Hang on. All right, let's see how that works. Okay, so I'm using this steel brick that I have here as a backup, like a dolly. Okay, so you put the plug in the hole, hold the metal nice and flat on the backup piece, make sure it's in the hole, and then just now with that did, if you see these plugs, when you do them on the Whitney punch, it here, maybe I can show you better with this. It misshapes them a little bit. You see there's kind of a little indent like a center punch on the backside, and hard to tell. So it's got that dimple in it, and so what it does is, in essence, it kind of shrinks that plug a little bit. So when you put it in the hole and you flatten it out, I do it on both sides. There you go. See the hole right here? See the plug right there? There. And it is even. It's swedged in there. It's even. So you want to start welding that. You don't have to put a magnet behind it or whatever. You just start welding because it's in there and it's tight. You can't get it any tighter than that. So like I said, that system works quite well. You make a bunch of those plugs. You drill them all out. You do them 2 or 3 of them with a file. and then you can make those plugs. You can secure those plugs pretty quickly. So like I said, that system works quite well. Okay, there you go. There's what the piece looks like with the few of the plugs. It's like 15 minutes since I did the last little segment, and that's how long it took to do those plugs, the ones there on the top. Yesterday I did that piece. I showed you that already in the last segment. Yesterday I did that piece, not thinking that with the bigger tub, we took these out because we're going to put tubs in that are fatter for bigger tires. With the bigger tub, this is going to get cut. I think the bigger tub's like 2.5 inches wider. So this is all going to go away. I plugged all those holes, and then this morning I was thinking about this, and it's like, wait a minute. That piece, that opening is going to get much wider. So all those holes are going to go away. So obviously on the one that I'm working on now, I'm not going to plug those holes. Anyway, like I said, sometimes you get, you get kind of excited about what's going on. You're making progress and you do stuff that you don't need to do. But anyway, it's a learning process, so it's not a total waste. See you later. Show you more when there's more to show you. Bye. Okay, well, we're making more progress, as you can see, even if it's in the form of demolition. You see, we got these seat braces out, which is the first thing you need to do towards putting deeper, wider tubs. And we're starting to mark some lines. That tape that you see there is intended to represent where the frame lies underneath the floor. And we're not going to depend on that. We're just going to cut short of that right now. Anyway, the first thing we're going to do is cut the tub out. And then we'll be able to look in the opening and see exactly where the frame is. You see, we wrote down some dimensions because one of the supports for the seat braces was there, so we want those dimensions for later on when we go to put the supports back, so we know where things were initially. Over there on that side too. So anyway, we're started. Scott's worked on plugging up the holes on those braces, and we are talking about maybe not even using them, doing something different that you'll see if and when we get there. But anyway, as I say, we're making some progress here. Doing something we've never done before, so wish us luck. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Making more progress on this, getting closer and closer to cutting these old tubs out in order to put the wider ones in. So we did this on each side under here. So I can remove the tub and still have the opening in the floor. I thought that might make it easier to move the opening in the floor for the wider tub if I have an existing that I can trace. I know if I'm going to make if the tubs are 2 3/4 inches wider, I can take that existing opening and simply enlarge it 2 3/4, following the same shapes, and that ought to be what I need. Assuming I can check. When we do cut the tub out, the existing, I can check it against the new one and see if it is the same shape. So see, we've done both sides. It's hard to show you from here, but it's loose. You can push on it up on top. You can push on it, and the tubs move away from the floor. So anyway. There you go. There's one more step. We're getting closer and closer to cutting these things out. I'm kind of anxious for that. Talk to you later. Bye. Hello there. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage with the time machine. As you can see here, we've been making some progress. Got one tub of the original tubs cut out, and we opened up the floor to allow for the wider tub to go in place. And we've kind of, at this point, well, had to do some other things too. I'll show you that in a second. See, I got a shrinker stretcher here that I had mounted over there in the back near my brake, the sheet metal brake. Trying to use the table to satisfy two tools. And I've never tried it before. Well, today we got into trying to make some pieces using the shrinker. And turned out that the location wasn't very good. So we went to plan B. Put this, I had one piece of angle iron. So I cut it in half and I made a support, two supports, one support for each tool, the shrinker and the stretcher. And we're doing this. It isn't the most convenient when you go from shrink to stretch. You got to take it out of the vise each time. But it's nice and solid. You know, it's not going anywhere when you pull on it. So for the time being, it works. It doesn't take up any extra space. That's the problem. I can get one of those foot stand things, which I may do. Here's where it was. It was mounted right on the end. One was mounted on this end, and one was mounted between the brake and the drill press on the other end. And like I said, the handle's just, it was just too awkward. The handle was next to the wall. Just didn't work right. But anyway, we have made some progress. You see, we have one of the new tubs dry fitted in here, just temporarily. You see there's some Tech screws holding it in, only a few. There's one here and two in the front. And then we made this piece that's going to go under the floor to create a flange so we can do a pinch weld between the, that'll fasten to the floor, and it's got a piece hanging down that will fasten to the lower extremity of the tubs, like a pinch weld, like the original was. So as I say, we cut the floor out. You can see it's cut out there. Fits pretty well. And obviously the tub will push over against anything where it's not touching now, because it's pretty close. So like I said, that piece that you see there, that sheet metal piece that's been shrunk and stretched to match all the contours of the floor, is going to go under the floor. The clecos are just holding it in place right now. And this side, we haven't started on this side yet. I just took all the seam sealer out. And I took a couple of more pieces off. You see all the spot welds are drilled out there, just so, because it makes it easier to work up on top of it. We have to cut it. What we did on the one that's already installed is we cut a 2-inch flange. We left 2 inches of it sticking into the trunk compartment. Now we've marked the edge of the new tub. So when we remove the tub, we'll trim that 2 inches off to, you know, wherever it needs to be to get in that. You see they made a step flange there on the new tub. So once we have that line, which we have the pencil line where the edge of the new tub is, we'll leave 3/4 or a 1/2 inch or whatever to do to weld a new tub to. And we'll do that on this side too. For the time being, what we're doing is concentrating on one side, learning what we need to know, and then hopefully applying that knowledge when we do the other side. So there we are. That's today, and it's part of another day, I think, progress. Talk to you later when I have more to show you. Bye. Okay, well, here's the piece we cut out of the floor to accommodate the wider tub.
The tub used to be here. This was the inside of the car.
You show us that again.
The tub was here.
Right.
Inside of the car here.
Right.
So this is what got removed.
That's what got removed out of the floor. So now what we're doing is using that piece has shape to it. So what we're doing right now is we're making a flange to go under the floor to attach to the bottom of the floor that the tub will fasten to, like a pinch weld. The tub hangs down below the floor. This is also going to hang down below the floor.
We're basically reproducing this flange.
The flange that was on the floor. So what we're doing is using this as a pattern to make part of that flange. Here, let me see if I can, here, there it is. Okay, so we've duplicated a section of that shape. The piece that's in the car that I showed you in the car, that's clecoed to the tub, is the bottom half of that piece. There's the lower half. This is going to be the upper half. And this will, both of these pieces will be under the floor. And like I say, the tub goes through the floor and hangs down below the floor. So it'll pinch weld to these flanges under the floor. All right, so that's what we're up to here. We're doing one side, like I say, so we can learn what we need to learn, hopefully, and apply it to the other side. Even though they are a bit different. They're not identical. But anyway.
In reverse.
Later. Okay, so there's that flange piece. There's the bottom half with the 3 clecos, and you see the joint right there. It gets to get trimmed a tiny bit, but there's where the other half of it goes. Obviously, this is all going to go under the floor so that it leaves a flange for the tub to get welded to. This is kind of to reproduce the flanges that were in the original floor, that were formed into the original floor that we cut out for the wider tub. Okay, well, doing some minor rust repair right here that we knew about, we discovered a little more damage that someone had previously patched. You can see with the remainder, they brazed it with the remainder of some of the welding on the patch that used to be in there. And obviously it goes behind this brace that leads to a body mount. So we're trying to work our way, you know, get the metal out from behind that. We'll work our way through that without cutting and removing the brace. See how successful we are with that. Anyway, later. Okay, well, here's what this looks like finished. See, we we put a patch in here because this piece it had a patch already. It had a big rotten hole in it, and the patch was nasty. And then the front side of it was rotten, I guess, after that patch. So you saw from the photos, we drilled the pieces apart. We drilled the spot welds out of this body mount brace. Cut this. Drilled the spot welds out where it meets the floor, made a new piece, put it all back together, plug welded it where the spot welds used to be, and spent a lot of time grinding it because Scott did the grinding here. You can see he's got it pretty flat, pretty smooth. So, oh, and I'll move the light here. Hang on a second. About 3 hours later, that's what that looks like. You can see where the two are going to come together. I don't know if we're going to meet them now or wait until the body's off the frame to do that area up there where they meet the two pieces. See, there's a back piece and a front piece. So that thing was a chore. Believe me, it was a chore getting all those shapes to match, that flange piece to match all those shapes on the floor. Anyway, that's where we're at. Okay, so here we are with the tub in for the last time with the clecos and stuff. Everything is ready to go. We got a mark. You see, we cleaned all the paint off for welding. We got to mark the back side of this where the flange hangs down, so we know we're going to drill the holes where they're going to interact with the flange. The tub hangs a little lower than the flange, so it means it's going to get cut off. We don't want to drill the holes too low. So we got the tub in here one last time temporarily to mark the height of the flange on the back side of it. And then it comes out for, we got to drill the floor as well for welding the flange. And then it's back in for welding. More later. Hey there. It's December 1, 2021. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. You can see here the Blue Heinz is here visiting its cousin, you know, the time machine. There's some work going on where it's been living. They're putting solar panels on the roof of the garage where where Blue Heinz been living. So it's been here for about a week and a half or whatever in the interim. Anyway, and we've changed the distributor on it during that time. We put a TSP, that's Total Street Performance HEI distributor in it, and it made a big difference. It's running really nice, so I'm really happy with that. Anyway, and we've been still a little less than we have been, but we've been working on this, continuing with the mini tub installation mostly. Finished a little flange that goes under the floor. Oh, I should get some light in here. Finished the little flange that goes under the floor. Let me get some light in here. I'll get right back to you. Okay, that's better. You can see a little better now. See that flange right there? We made that piece. It's 1 inch by half inch part hanging down, obviously. And we shaped it to match the floor. And Scott's welding it in at this point. He's got it welded up to where you see those clamps from the back, all around and up the slope and across that flat on the top. He's got it welded up to where you see the vice grips. It's got to come down here and finish the rest of this. You can see it's pretty complicated little piece, but it's really, surprisingly, really stiffening up the floor. It's amazing, that little half-inch flange. So now what'll happen here is the tub, you can see we have this all cut now, the correct amount sticking out to mate with the flange they put in the tub. You see there's a few holes there from tech screws. So now the next step is to put after this is welded, after it's welded, the next step then would be to put the tub in and attach the tub like a pinch weld, because the tub hangs down actually a tiny bit below this flange. So we'll weld the two pieces together and then trim the excess off the tub so that it matches this 1/2 inch flange going around the bottom of the floor. Anyway, that's the next step. I wanted to wait until that was all done, but it's been taking us so long that I'm going to do a video at this point, and we'll do another one when it's finished. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, welcome back to Blue Hind's Garage, where Scott's here working on the time machine. Finally welding the tub in. The one on the driver's side. You see we're welding, kind of doing like a pinch weld. Plug welds actually, but more of a pinch weld type of thing. The little flange below the floor to the tub, bottom of the tub. Hey.
If you get under here, you can kind of see it.
Oh yeah, some of it's
from the back side.
Some of it's welded and finished off a little bit already. Yeah, let me see from the back side. What we can see, yeah, there's the flange in the floor. Looking at that light.
Once the body gets on the rotisserie, we'll dress all of that.
Right. Yeah, because you can't access it right now on top of the frame.
Barely get clamps on it.
Anyway, so there's more progress. Got one more side to do, obviously. There, that's better. Now you're not looking at the light. Sorry about that. Anyway, see ya. Okay, well, just to cap this off, you can see this side's done. At least done until the body comes back off the chassis. So you can deal with the flange we made where it mounts to the floor. You can't do that with it on top of the frame. But that's what it looks like. Welded to the flange, all ground smooth. Looks pretty factory. Happy with that. In fact, it looks better than factory in some places. Anyway, later.